Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to a live edition of Dodgers Territory with Clint Pasillas. I'm Alanna Rizzo. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you guys as always. Please rate us 5 stars, like, subscribe, tell your friends, YouTube, everywhere that you get your podcast. We appreciate you very much. All right, let's get to it. The big ticket, Clint.
Let's do it.
It's on everybody's mind, Clint. That's all we're talking about. I know we're kind of talking about it ad nauseum, if you will. But listen, people want to know. The people want to know why Teoscar Hernandez has not been signed yet. And the reason we want to know is because he has ingratiated himself to Dodgers fans. And he's a really good right fielder, and he would be a compliment to what is already a very good Dodgers team. I know from a very, very good source that he would love nothing more than to come back and be a Los Angeles Dodger. They just need to figure it out, right? So again, The contract situation seems to be a little bit of a sticking point. Perhaps it's the money, perhaps it's the extra year. Mark Feinsand had this to say: the Dodgers and Hernandez seemed headed for a reunion, but the two sides haven't been able to reach a deal thus far. That opened the door for other teams, namely the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, so 2 teams in the AL East, to jump in on the outfielder who is seeking a 3-year deal in the $22 to $24 million a year range per sources. Now, if they don't get Teoscar Hernandez, perhaps that leads them to go to Anthony Santander, who is not going back to the Baltimore Orioles. But this I ask you, my dear, and you said this first. They cannot lose Teoscar Hernandez over a 1-year deal, $23 to $25 million. I'm sorry. Give the man 3 years, $75 million, $80 million, and be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the deal that we're kind of looking at, I thought that was going to be more of a holdup for a 4th year. But if the holdup is a 3rd year, what the hell is taking so long? Get this ish done already. He wants to come back. The Dodgers need him, because we'll be talking a little bit later in the show about the outlook for this team and are they built good enough right now, assuming no other moves right now. Are they good enough to win a World Series? Well, without Teoscar Hernandez, spoiler alert, maybe they are not. I think he goes a long way, and I'll throw myself into oncoming traffic if it's 1 year and $24 million. Okay, maybe not that much. I'm not that kind of fan, but still, I will be sad and I will hit the bottle heavy if they let 1 year come between him coming back or going elsewhere. That's just a problem.
I mean, because yeah, you talk about going elsewhere. So what is elsewhere? I mean, where else do you go if you don't bring Teoscar Hernandez back? And Mark Feinsand went on to say that Anthony Santander, who had a nice year last year for the Baltimore Orioles, 44 home runs, perhaps, though, he's looking for a 5-year, $100 million deal. So that AAV, pretty easy math there, is $20 million a year. I would gladly take Teoscar Hernandez for 3 years, 75, or 3 years, 70, or whatever it is, over a 5-year commitment. Now, I understand that Anthony Santander is 2 years younger than Teoscar Hernandez, but are we interested in Santander, Clint, if things go south with Teoscar and he, for whatever reason, is not back in a Dodger uniform? Santander, 44 home runs. He's a switch hitter. Sprint speed, not the greatest. I had this conversation on Fair Territory today with Ken Rosenthal because I was like, wow, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been signed yet now that Soto's off the board. But do we go the Santander route if Teoscar is not a Dodger?
No, I would rather see them go in-house. You signed Michael Conforto. That's a clear backup plan. Ideally, it's an in addition to plan with the return of Teoscar Hernandez. But you have him. We still want to see Kike Hernandez come back. We know now Kike Hernandez wants to come back. But Santander, listen, he picked a good year to have a really, really good year. But the Dodgers don't need, if you're talking about somebody who's slowing down and not a great fielder and doesn't really hit for average, I just don't see that fitting in. Yeah, 44 home runs. It's sexy. Chicks dig the long ball. But I want some guys who can get the job done in the postseason. And one thing we know Teoscar Hernandez brings to this team is that clutch gene, the it factor, the seeds, the smile. I said one thing and then it just threw out a list there. But no, I'm a no. I'm a big fat no on a lot of things, but also Anthony Santander.
The self-deprecation is off the charts with you. But okay, so you got, Teoscar Hernandez, 33 home runs. That's nothing to sneeze at either. It's not 44. But I think overall player, I think Teoscar Hernandez is a better fit for the Los Angeles Dodgers and what the need is than perhaps Anthony Santander would be in a Dodger uniform. You had also mentioned the other Hernandez as far as the Hernandez bros is concerned. And Kike Hernandez recently had this to say about his priority list this offseason.
Main priority for me would probably be coming back. I think this team the Dodgers are very well positioned to, make another run and be the first back-to-back team since the New York Yankees in '99 and 2000.
Well, the clip there ended, but he gets it. This is a boy at this stage in his career. He wants to go out there and he wants to win some World Series. He had his first parade. He had a lot of fun. We all saw it. Kike wants to come back. We want Kike back. What the hell is going on here as well?
Well, I think Kike is at the point in his career where, unfortunately, he's not the top priority as far as signing is concerned. He's going to come back as, it's, a lower value as far as contract is concerned. And they have other things that they need to worry about before the complementary pieces that are the Kike Hernandezes of the world. I mean, they have to figure out right field, right? I mean, whether that's going to be Kike Hernandez or if Conforto plays in right, which I don't think that's going to be the case. But, is a platoon situation between Kike and somebody else. So I do believe Kike will be back in the fold. I just don't think that he's at top of mind for the Dodgers priority list right now, just because of where he's at in his career. I mean, he does bring a lot of gloves to the yard. He can do a lot of things. And I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more. I want Kike Hernandez on every single postseason roster for the rest of my life because he's just that type of player.
I'll ask you this, and one, I'll comment on this because I'm seeing the crowd being upset at me calling him Kike. Yes, I know how to say Kike. I know how to say Enrique Hernandez too if you want. But I fuck around and I'll call him Kike sometimes because it's fun. I've known the boy for a long time. But Alanna, I'll ask you this when it comes to Kike. Sorry, I lost my point there on the diatribe. But with Kike and mixing in with the guys they already have in house. And again, we're going to talk more about this in a little bit. You got Conforto, you got Andy Pages. I was hoping to word my way to a point. Just bring Kike back.
I mean, the thing is, but let's look. It's okay. Let's bring up the graphic of you had it on your show, All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas, about the options we have as far as right fielders are concerned, the projected lineup, the bench. I mean, you still have James Outman on here as an outfielder, of course. Yeah. You have Andy Pages in right field. This is assuming that Teoscar Hernandez or somebody else not named Teoscar Hernandez is not patrolling right field for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Your outfield as it sits right now, we know Tommy Edman is going to be in center field because we know that Mookie Betts is going to be your shortstop to start the season. You seemingly believe Michael Conforto, and I do too, will be in left field. And then you have to figure out that right field spot. Is it Outman? Is it a combination? Is it a platoon situation? I don't know. I believe it's going to be Teoscar Hernandez. I believe the Dodgers outfield will be Michael Conforto, Teoscar Hernandez in right, Tommy Edman in center. That's what I think is going to be. I mean, they're not going to sign Conforto to a 1-year, $15 million deal or whatever it was for him to ride the pine, right? So I believe that's going to be the Dodgers at least starting outfield to begin this season.
Yeah, bringing back both of those Hernandez brothers, they're not related, by the way. You feel immediately better about this team's odds to go out there and win a ball game, win a World Series, advance in a postseason. But without them, we saw those names, and I said this just before we went live. Anytime you see James Outman on a projected, 40-man or 26-man list, I think the Dodgers are hurting a little bit. And that's nothing terribly against James Outman. Maybe he's a good ball player for the White Sox. Maybe he's a good ball player for the Miami Marlins. But
why would you do that to James Outman? I remember 2 spring trainings ago, you say that at the White Sox because we were probably playing the White Sox because, of course, we play the White Sox every day at Camelback because there are partners there at Camelback Ranch. But I remember saying that if this kid doesn't make the big league roster to start the season, I was like screaming it off of the mountaintops. I do believe that that's still in him. I don't think we realize how difficult this game really is. There's a big jump sometimes from AAA to the big league league level. And I still think James Outman has got some pop in that bat. I think he's got to learn how to play at the big league level. Do I want him necessarily as one of my 3 starters in the outfield? Not when you have the likes of Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman, and Michael Conforto. They just have more experience. But I'm not, again, just like Kike and just like Gavin, I'm not ready to pull the plug yet on James Outman.
Yeah, what I'm saying is somewhere that's a softer landing. We understand the window the Dodgers are in right now. You got Shohei Ohtani, you got Mookie Betts still at this age, Freddie Freeman still under contract. You're trying to win right now, and like Kike just told us a minute ago, you're trying to bring it, be the first team to go back-to-back World Series champions since 99-2000. If James Outman is one of those guys, and we've seen him go on a run, finish third in Rookie of the Year voting in 2023. When he's right, he's a very, very good player, but he's also, I don't know if he's religious because he's got a little bit of a holy swing here and there. Maybe playing elsewhere will help him get more big league at bats, and that also clears a roster spot for somebody like Kike Hernandez and so on and so forth. Especially we're talking this much about James Outman when people are going to see Chris Taylor on that list, but that's another whole thing. Before we talk about that, though, I don't know if you saw this. I'm assuming you did because you're a pro and you pay attention to things, but Devin Williams, of course, not a Dodger, traded to the New York Yankees, and he told media he thought he was going to the Dodgers. He was told he was going to the Dodgers. Of course, you talked a couple weeks ago with Ken Rosenthal on Fair Territory about the fact that the Dodgers are looking for another back-end guy, whether it was a Devin Williams, whether it was a Tanner Scott. Well, Devin Williams off the table. What do you make of this, and how close do you think something could have been?
I really would have loved to have seen Devin Williams on that 1-year deal be a Los Angeles Dodger because I love his stuff. I think he's incredibly, incredibly good. And I know that would have been a price point, I think, that Andrew Friedman was more comfortable. We've talked about it at length, too, how Friedman doesn't like to spend buku bucks on relievers. You saw him bring Blake Trinan back on a 2-year, $22 million deal. With the exception of Kenley Jansen back in the day in that same offseason, remember when they gave Rich Hill the 3-year deal, Justin Turner the 4-year deal, Kenley Jansen the 5-year deal, all at the same AAV for those guys. I mean, but that was a bona fide closer situation when Kenley was at the height of his career. I don't know that the Dodgers are willing to spend big bucks on relievers anymore, and Tanner Scott comes with a bigger price tag and a longer term deal. But now that Devin Williams apparently, thought he was coming to LA, there obviously had to be conversations that was a possibility. Devin Williams isn't just going to say that out of the blue, like, oh, I thought I was going to LA. I mean, obviously he's having conversations with his agent about what's happening, right? For whatever reason, he's a Yankee now, and that's fine. I just don't know if Tanner Scott is the right fit just based on contract and money. But then I'm thinking, who else is available, right? But for the first time in a long time, Clint, I'm okay with the bullpen pieces that we have. We talked about it on our last show on Monday that it would be nice to have another back end of the bullpen piece, but it's not a necessity. And I feel pretty good if everyone's healthy, okay, barring everyone being healthy, I feel pretty good about our bullpen if, in fact, Dustin May is actually put in the bullpen as well. I mean, think about the pieces that we have. Let's, talk about our relievers right now, right? I mean, we have obviously Blake Trinan is back, which was part of my Christmas wish list. We have Michael Kopech. We'll have him for an entire year. Evan Phillips, who was tremendous. Alex Vesia, who was tremendous. Anthony Banda coming up big in a lot of situations last year. Ryan Brazier, Ben Kasparius. I think Dustin May should be in the bullpen. Edgardo Henriquez, of course, Michael Grove, and then Giovanni Gallegos, who I believe is on that minor league deal, right?
Yeah.
To see if he makes this rotation, or excuse me, the bullpen. I'm okay with this right now based on health and based on the starters that we have, if they can go kind of deep into games. I don't know. Would I have loved to have Devin Williams? Yeah. Would I like to have Tanner Scott? Sure. I just don't know if that's in the cards for them.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, you would love to see Tanner Scott, but at some point, there has to be a number, a financial number, a payroll number that this team does not want to exceed. And I can't envision them spending on Teoscar, Kike, and Tanner Scott. That just seems like a lot, knowing they also are going to have to spend some money on Clayton Kershaw, where we already know there's a kind of a gentleman's agreement. He will be back at some point. That's fully the expectation. And that sparked in my head, what I was going to tell you a few minutes ago about Kike. So we've had this on my channel. We've had this kind of idea, and I've talked to other people about it, that maybe Kike knows he's going back. Maybe there's kind of a gentleman's agreement, something, a handshake agreement in place for Kike to return to the Dodgers. But right now, understanding the same way Clayton Kershaw, understanding that they kind of need some 40-man roster room to wiggle with through this offseason. Do you think that's something they would do, or is that just not smart for Kike, who maybe can find a bigger, better deal for himself out there in the open market?
I think Clayton Kershaw, 1,000%. Clayton Kershaw has the pedigree and the resume and the black type and the Hall of Fame lock, first ballot Hall of Fame lock. A gentleman agreement is there for that. I don't think Kike is in that position where a gentleman agreement. If I'm Kike, I make sure I get a contract somewhere. I think obviously he wants to be a Dodger, but I don't know. I'm not privy to that conversation. I just think Kike is looking for a job right now. Kershaw knows he has a job, and Kershaw will always have a job with the Dodgers in some capacity. I mean, he is a Dodger for life, right? And by the way, I forgot to even mention Brusdar Graterol in the bullpen, who obviously won't be ready to start the beginning of the season, but he's going to be a piece of that bullpen at some point. So I do feel really good about Graterol and the bullpen. Gentlemen in agreement, Kersh, sure. Kike, not sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's kind of how I felt as well. So we've laid kind of the groundwork here, maybe even talked a little bit ahead to what we're going to talk about right now in Bleeding Blue. But the big question I have for everybody in the chat, and I do want to have the chat participate in this section of the show, is do we feel the Dodgers are good enough right now? You saw some of the names on that list. Do we feel they're good enough right now to compete for and win a World Series? So let's throw to Bleeding Blue, and then let's look at the latest World Series odds by our friends over at BetMGM. So there they are.
Yeah, there you have it. So the Dodgers are at plus 350 to win it all. Is that what we're saying according to BetMGM?
Yeah, I mean, that's we can call that, I believe, an odds-on favorite, and I'll fully admit I'm not a big-time betting boy. I don't understand these things. I bet dollar bills with my buddies on, foul balls and strikes and whether or not somebody in the parking lot's going to get too tossed during spring training while we're all tailgating. So I don't know a whole lot, but I know the numbers of the Dodgers show at the top, and it says plus 350. That tells me...
So they have the best chance right now is what BetMGM is saying.
Experts are saying the Dodgers right now. And understandably, they do have a lot of talent. You feel a lot better if they add, at the bare minimum, Teoscar Hernandez back. But again, that's the question. Are they good enough right now? What is your take? And let's look at that lineup, because, you got to score more points than the other team. And I know people are going to be pissed at me for calling it points. Yes, it's runs. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, people don't understand. Everybody that listens to us is so literal. People get so mad at me. Mad at us, I should say. But now those were the odds as of December 9th, by the way. So about 10 days ago. This is the projected lineup. Again, we are assuming, just for this exercise, folks, that Teoscar Hernandez is not part of the team and they don't bring anybody else in that's not already in the Dodgers system. So today you have to look, Clint, at the competition, right?
Yeah.
So there's nobody in the NL West, in my opinion, other than the Padres, that really have a shot at really giving the Dodgers a fight in the division. I mean, I think we've said this for the last 10 years, and the Padres scared me the most last season. And again, people don't let me forget what I said on High Heat either. But I mean, if you talk to Dave Roberts, he felt the same way. Everybody was nervous about the Padres, right?
The Dodgers literally backed you up on that.
I said, if the Dodgers get out of this DS against the Padres, they go to the World Series. And I think I proved the point on that. So back-to-back is incredibly difficult to do, right? We've seen that the last team that went back-to-back, the Yankees, right? When they went back-to-back and actually won it is what I'm talking about. So it is very difficult to go back-to-back. But look at the competition. Tell me why the Dodgers won't go back to the World Series.
Well, I mean, back to the World Series, you got to look at what the New York Mets are doing. You got to look at what other teams around the league. The Phillies really, really want to get back to a World Series. They've been very, very close. They are loaded with some talent. They're trying to still build out that roster a little bit more. We're talking specifically division in the NL West, and we'll really do a deep dive later on this offseason about where the NL West stands and the Dodgers' chances of getting that, 12th division in 13 years, whatever that number is. The Giants making some moves, adding Willy Adames. I think the game changer really could be if they do find a way to add Corbin Burns, the Giants are going to be right up there, I think, at least in the division, as considered favorites alongside the Dodgers. I don't know that that's enough to get them to a World Series, but Diamondbacks were supposed to be good. So there's a lot of pieces, a lot of competition in the division that could derail or help the Dodgers. Like Dino Edel told us a couple weeks ago, it's like having to fight for that division to the final weeks really helped them in the postseason and up to and through a World Series. So I like where the competition lies, but still, I look at this lineup, this projected lineup as of right now. What is it? December 19th. Happy birthday to my niece. They are missing a Teoscar Hernandez.
They're missing, but I still don't see anybody in the division that can, maybe the Padres. I still think, again, you win the division. It's also it's a short off season. Remember that they played the final game, but so did the Yankees. But I think the Yankees, whatever, we don't talk about them. This is not
and they start earlier too.
Yeah, they do. But I don't know. I don't know until somebody takes them over in the division as a perennial. There's no reason to me. I mean, think about the amount of flipping injuries this team had last year, and they still won the World Series. I have to think that they're not going to have the same amount of injuries to key players, particularly their starting rotation, as they did last year.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. We do have a super chat before we do talk about the pitching side of the Francisco $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Francisco, for supporting the show. So in that perfect world, Conforto and Paez platooned in left field, Teo playing right field. Dodgers, don't be Scrooges here at Christmas time. Bring Teo home. I love that one. And a lot of people in the chat definitely worried about the outfield situation. I saw Sarah Morris bringing up the fact that the outfield right now, you look at those names, and I'm not going to throw the graphic back up, but you look at those names, still leaving just that little bit to be desired. Rotation-wise, though, in the postseason, what you care about is what you have in your 1, 2, 3 starters. Well, they got 4 starters if everybody's healthy and everybody's right, because don't forget, they did add this fella by the name of Blake Snell. So you look at the starting rotation options, I really like where they're at right here. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good about it too. I did say prior to the Snell signing, I said we really needed to get another left-hander. I didn't know if it was going to be Snell. I didn't know if it was going to be Max Fried. I love the Snell signing. I didn't like playing against him. I'm glad that he's like one of those dudes that you're like psyched he's on your team, but you're not a huge fan if he's on the opposition. And I like the deal that he got versus paying, $218 for a really long 8-year deal to a starting pitcher. Because I think an 8-year deal for a starter that's not Yamamoto is a long time, right? I mean, it's a long time for Max Fried to be under contract with the Yankees. So I like our starting rotation. I like our bullpen, and I like our lineup. Do I think they need Teoscar? Yes, I do. I do think that they need Teoscar Hernandez in that lineup and in right field, and I do believe it will get done.
Yeah, if we're talking about an area where there's the most obvious need, it's the outfield, it's Teoscar Hernandez, and then behind that, I'm less excited about the bullpen. I think it's just one more guy. And again, noticeably omitted from this list is Brusdar Graterol. I should have put him on there because he is on the team. He's just not going to be back until maybe All-Star break time. You're really hoping the Dodgers do that thing. Andrew Friedman does that thing that he does so well. Strike lightning, whatever. Lightning strikes twice, lightning in a bottle, whatever. Giovanni Gallegos can be a pretty intriguing weapon to see go through the Dodgers pitching clinic with Mark Pryor, Connor McGinnis and company. But you're also here looking at this list. You're hoping that Banda doesn't regress. You're hoping that Phillips kind of had a little bit of up and down. You're also hoping Ben Kasparius is in that mix. Edgardo Henriquez. I know I saw some people upset in the chat about Michael Grove being on this list, but he's going to be an option. And when Grover is right, and when he's got the hook and the fastball working for him, he's he can be lights out. He just gives up a lot of runs. When he gives up runs, he gives them up in bunches, and it ruins the ERA. Nothing worse than being a reliever at the major league level. But
throw up the starting pitcher graphic again, because Tom Alper is saying that Snell's our only non-injured pitcher. That's not true. Shohei Ohtani is injured a little bit, but it's like he's just because he had to have the surgery, he's going to be fine. Yamamoto's not injured. Glasnow's going to be fine. Gonsolin's fine. Dustin May, we'll see. He'll probably go to. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I understand. What's his name? Brandon Gomes addressed this at the winter meetings as well. As of right now, everybody is trending in the right direction. Tyler Glasnow is now throwing a baseball, and as they don't anticipate any issues as he continues his build up. Tony Gonsolin probably could have pitched for this team in September if they were really desperate. But still, these are guys. Gonsolin, May coming back from injuries. Yamamoto had the shoulder issue. Through the middle part of the season. Glasnow didn't finish the season, right, with this team. So there are some question marks. Kershaw, technically not on the team, but we know he's going to be around. He's somebody coming off of, foot and knee surgery. So, yeah, it's imperfect, but you still feel pretty confident knowing that this team is going to find a way to win 95 to 100 games because they're just that good. They always find a way. You just got to get to the get to the dance, get to the tournament.
Yeah, and they do every year, and that's why I'm not concerned about it. Let's throw up the super chat from Christopher Navarro. We appreciate you, Christopher. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Alanna and Nostradamus. Love the show. All I want for Christmas is Teo and Roki Sasaki. Is that greedy? Come on, Santa. I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, again, I do believe that Sasaki is unbelievably affordable.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take him.
Waiting on that. We got about 3 weeks until we kind of figure out where that ends up. I think we start to see that market sort of develop or not. I mean, the market's there, but we start to see those rumors heat up into the first of the year. But so let's answer the question though. Like, are the Dodgers good enough to win the World Series right now? Knowing that it doesn't matter how much talent you have. It's about the heart. It's about having those dogs. And I agree. I think they are.
All I look to, Clint, to answer that question is look at what happened last year. That's it. That's all I need to know.
That's fair.
That's all I need to know.
I like it.
Because they had every single thing go wrong for them. I realize they have a big payroll, blah, blah, blah. But they had so many things going wrong for them, and they won the frickin' World Series. So, yes, they do have enough.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I agree. I like it. I feel a lot better about one thing. Getting Teo where we see Will Smith in the lineup. That's the only thing I want to see. Get Teoscar in there, get James Outman out of there, and then I'll feel better. That's not a dig against Outman. I just want to point out that
Teoscar Hernandez is a better player than James Outman is right now. That's fine. It's fine.
Breaking news.
Like, I mean, you're not saying anything that nobody else is thinking. All right, so that's that. Let's get to last licks. All right, appreciate you guys letting me talk about the pups that need homes. This is Lila. She's a beautiful 5-year-old German Shepherd mix. This dog is perfection. When I tell you perfection, I mean perfection. She is wonderful with other dogs. She is vaccinated. She is healthy. She is microchipped. She is housebroken. She is great on a leash. She's a sweetheart, and she needs a home. She's currently located in Valencia, California. So in Southern California, please reach out if you're interested in adopting this beauty. We appreciate it very, very much. How about this, Clint? I don't know if you saw this earlier, but this is one of the funnier bumper stickers that I've ever seen. And unless you're a fan of one of these two teams or really a fan of baseball, you may not understand what this means. But I know our viewers and our listeners understand. Yeah. Bases loaded, top of the fifth. LA is down 0-0 or 5-0 rather, and then the stuff hits the fan, and it all worked out for Los Angeles. I love this. So thank you, Ray, for posting this. I need this bumper sticker in my life.
That is pretty good. Oh no, actually, I would say that's pretty classless, but no, that is really good.
We're a bunch of classless pigs, right?
And I love that the 5-0 like that little score bug. We see it on the internet all the time. People throwing back to the Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl, the 27-3, yeah, 3-1 with LeBron and company, and as I think the Cavaliers. I'm not a big I pay way too much attention to baseball, and that's about it. So I forget all of them. But that's a good one. If you're looking for a last minute stocking stuffer, well, you probably waited too late because you're not going to get that shipped to you in time. But that is a phenomenal bumper sticker.
If anybody can find that and send it to me, I'd appreciate it. I'll pay you for it. I'd appreciate that. People here in New England would love that because they all hate the Yankees anyway. So that would work out well because I live close to Boston. So, all right, what's coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas tonight?
I mean, more Dodgers talk. Really, really hope and got our fingers crossed for a Teoscar Hernandez sighting and a signing or some sort of move. I don't know that anything special happens, but we got some stuff to talk about. Chat will be active as it always is, so tube in tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. That is me. Give the channel a subscribe. Give this channel a subscribe. All that kind of stuff. But appreciate you guys tubing in today. It's been a fun show.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. We always appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe. And Clint and I are back with a fresh new show on Monday. Hopefully we do have some Teoscar news. We'll see you then. Go Dodgers.
Okay. Bye.